So for this problem, I'm going to give you a similar problem for question number 1. Suppose I give you this equation for the revenue. R is equal to, say, 120 minus 10x is our revenue times, let's go 30 plus 5x. Okay, now the key here is to figure out what we're going to take off of each of these brackets. So in this bracket here, there's a common factor here. There's a common factor of 10. But what I'm actually going to I'm not going to take out just 10. I'm going to take out negative 10 so that I end up with x being by itself. Very similar to what this is. So we're supposed to have a x minus r x minus s. And that only happens when this negative 10 is gone. So imagine we pull off negative 10. So imagine I divide both of these by negative 10. And then I put the negative 10 out in front of my solution set. So I'm going to get r is equal to, well, in brackets, negative 10. And then we take a look at what's left over for that first bracket. So for that first bracket, if I divide 120 by negative 10, it becomes negative 12. And then negative 10x divided by negative 10 becomes positive x. Because negative 10 divided by negative 10 is just positive 1, which is really just x in the end. So now let's do the same for the second box, because we're going to try and get it to look like this. So this and this are eventually going to be the same. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go and we're going to pull out something that's common to both of these that will get rid of the 5 in front of this. So for 5 and 30, the only thing that both of them can divide by is 5. So we're going to pull off 5. So now when we write our solution, I'm going to write this in blue. We're going to pull out a 5. And then we have, well, 30 divided by 5 is 6. And then 5x divided by 5 is just x. So we get plus x. And now that we've got that, now we can just swap these things around. So literally, for this graph here, just going to put it in red, I can take these two and swap them around. And I can take these two and swap them around. And so let's go and write out the bracketed portion of our work right now. So we're going to get negative 1. And we're going to get, instead of negative 12 plus x, we're going to get x minus 12. And we're still going to get our 5 from before. But instead of having 6 plus x, we're going to have x plus 6 in brackets. So now the last thing that we have to do is we have to make this thing match with our a sitting in front. And the only way that we can do this is we need to remember that with multiplicative parts of things like this. So this is multiplied by this, which is multiplied by this, which is multiplied by this. Now, what I can do is I can shuffle all the numbers to the front, because 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3. And this is just 4 times the same thing. So we're going to bring 5. And, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. This number that was pulled out in front here should be negative 10 in front, not negative 1. I apologize. So now we're actually going to take the 5 and the negative 10 and put them beside each other. So you get negative 10 in brackets, and in blue, you've got 5. And then we'll just leave our brackets, because I'm going to leave my brackets. So you're going to get x minus 2 and x plus 6. So now all we're going to do is we're going to combine the multiplication of negative 10 and 5. And what do you get? You get negative 50, son. So you're going to get negative 50 in brackets, and you have x minus 2 and x plus 6. Now, doesn't that look very similar to what we have here? So that is what our R value is in the end. So that was part 1 of the work that I just asked you to do. Take a moment, look it over, and give me a shout. Tell me if you think this is okay.